York. This is Nightline, August 1st, 2006.
Good evening, I'm Cynthia McFadden. Tonight, nearly 5 years after the attacks on 9/11, a remarkable new window into what happened that morning in the sky. New information from a set of Air Force recordings never before broadcast, recordings that changed the course of the 9/11 Commission investigation. They provide a minute-by-minute account of the ill-fated attempt to stop the terrorists. A writer at Vanity Fair magazine first obtained the tapes, and his article appears in the September issue of the magazine. Tonight, an inside look at how America was caught off guard. It is an ordinary Tuesday morning. In Florida, the president is up early, jogging. In northern New York State, at the U.S. Air Force Northeast Command Center, the morning is so ordinary, the talk is of slipcovers.
Stuff that I'm going to sell it together, I think, with the couch and chair, so, I mean, it goes together.
What you are listening to are the audio tapes which run 24/7 inside this bunker. They are a minute-by-minute record of the military response to the attack on the morning of September 11th. The 25 or so military personnel on duty here are charged with keeping U.S. airspace safe from Boston to the Dakotas.
Our job basically was a Cold War mission. It was air sovereignty over the eastern United States, and it was looking for Russian Bear bombers.
They came into work today expecting to participate in a system-wide drill.
Hi, Boston Center, Team U. We have a problem here. We have a hijacked aircraft headed towards New York, and we need you guys we need someone to scramble some F-16s or something up there to help us out.
Is this real world or exercise?
No, this is not an exercise, not a test.
It is 8:37 in the morning.
Even up to that point, we were kind of excited, like, okay, something to do out of the norm. You know, not thinking of the catastrophe that was about to happen.
What? What was that? Not real world. Real world hijack.
No one ever expected a hijacked airplane to actually fly into a building.
Michael Bronner is a contributing writer for Vanity Fair magazine.
No one expected hijackers to fly the planes.
His 10-month investigation into the military response to 9/11 resulted in the first public release of these audio tapes.
Is he inbound to JFK?
We don't know.
You don't know where he is at all?
He's being hijacked. The pilot's having a hard time talking to we don't know. We don't know where he's going. He's heading towards Kennedy. He's, like I said, he's like 35 miles north of Kennedy now at 367 knots.
Okay.
No idea where he's going.
If you could please give us a call and let us know, any information, that would be great.
Okay. Right now, I guess we're trying to work on, there's been some threats in the cockpit.
There's been what? I'm sorry?
We'll call you right back as soon as we know more info.
Throughout the rest of the morning, they would grapple with an avalanche of raw information. Now, listening to those 30-plus hours of tapes, it is clear the U.S. military response was both late and ineffective.
FAA and Norad were totally ineffective in that morning, and they just didn't have the information to act.
Governor Thomas Kean was head of the 9/11 Commission. I spoke with him by phone this morning.
They didn't know about the planes in the air, and they didn't find out about them until after they crashed.
It is also clear the military is hobbled by systems and equipment designed to fight another kind of war, nothing like the one that is beginning this morning.
The U.S. military was totally unprepared. They were ready to respond to attacks that might come from the ex-Soviet Union, but the idea of people using planes as missiles in the United States, they were just unprepared for it.
Consider the military radar scopes, the so-called green eyes. The military scopes were not even set up to find civilian locations like Kennedy Airport and the White House.
So you've got these civilian controllers saying he's 35 miles north of JFK, John F. Kennedy Airport, and they're sitting there in the military unit saying, well, where's JFK? Incredibly, they don't even have this major airport as a landmark on their scopes.
And so the military has to rely on civilian air traffic controllers for crucial information. But they're short of information too, and already juggling about 3,000 planes in the Northeast airspace. At 8:21 a.m., American Flight 11 disappears from the FAA radar. The hijackers have turned off the plane's identifying beacon.
Major Nisipany, you're needed in ops pronto. Major Nisipany, you're needed in ops pronto.
Major Kevin Nisipany was the commander on the ops floor.
MCC, I don't know where I'm scrambling these guys to. I need a direction
destination.
Okay, I'm going to give you the Z point. It's just north of New York City.
I got this lat long 4115, 7436, or 7346.
Head them in that direction.
Copy that.
You have to pick and choose which is the bad guy out there, which is the hijacked aircraft. And without the information from FAA, it's a needle in a haystack.
A deadly needle.
What's really incredible about the defense of the country that day is that in the northeast sector of Norad, there were only 4 armed fighters in the whole northeast, 2 at Otis Air Force Base in Cape Cod and 2 at Langley Air Force Base by Washington.
It was an unusual request.
Major Dan Nash is one of the pilots that morning.
I don't think it was till 8:46 when we actually got the order to scramble.
But by the time Major Nash is taxiing down the runway in Cape Cod, Flight 11 has already crashed into the World Trade Center.
Plane to the World Trade Center? What? No, sir. The 737?
Wait, what?
The World Trade Center.
Who are you talking to? Get pass it to them.
Oh, my God.
311.
Oh, God.
By this time, we could see the smoke. It was a very clear day. There was not a cloud in the sky. It was low humidity, and you could see hundreds of miles. And we could see the smoke already from the World Trade Center.
But no one at the FAA or in the military chain of command was certain that the missing Flight 11 was the same plane that hit the Trade Center.
Sir, Sergeant Drew here. Are you giving confirmation that American 11 was the one?
No, we're not going to confirm that at this time. We just know an aircraft that's crashed in.
Is anyone up there tracking primary on this guy's still?
No, we had the last hit we had was about 15 miles east of JFK, or 8 miles east of JFK was our last primary hit. He did slow down in speed. The primary that we had had slowed down down to 300 knots.
Okay.
But that was the last thing we had on him.
Okay. And then you lost him.
17 minutes after the first tower is hit, Senior Airman Roundtree gets another call. It is 9:03.
They have a second possible hijacker.
But this call also comes too late, just as that plane, United 175, has crashed into the second tower.
We got an unconfirmed second hit. You already knew another aircraft.
Is this explosion part of it that we're looking at now on TV?
Boston is now grounding.
All aircraft out of Boston. Second hijack, also a United Airlines.
Center.
2 planes? He was in Whiskey 105.
Get the f*** out.
When the second one hit, it was more of, okay, now we're pissed because you're trying to stop all this stuff and you feel helpless.
You know, you heard a few people say it. We're at war. Because at that point, we felt as if we were getting attacked.
Oh, God, they better call the president.
Yeah, believe me, we don't.
Back in Sarasota, the president is told that a second plane has hit the World Trade Center. With both towers in flames, the F-15 fighters are still 100 miles away from Manhattan in a holding pattern over the Atlantic Ocean because civilian controllers are worried about the fighters entering crowded civilian airspace. It is now 9:21.
Give me a location. Third aircraft hijack heading towards Washington.
Headed toward Washington, where at 9:45, the order is given to evacuate the White House. A plane feared to be headed straight for the White House, the military barely able to respond. When we come back.
ABC News Nightline, brought to you by